The topic of fillets in Solidworks is immense. There are so many different types and settings within the types and options and possibilities within any type of fillet creation in Solidworks. It's hard to imagine getting through the whole topic, but let's give it a shot. I've got a part here that I'm going to start working on. We'll just click the fillet icon. Within the fillet property manager, you can create several different types, and there are many different settings. So we're all familiar with the regular fillet. And we're also familiar with the fact that if you have perpendicular edges selected, that fillet will go around the edges. There's a setting here for tangent propagation. So what that means is, let's clear the selections. If you have an edge that's already filleted, and I'm going to use the scroll wheel on the mouse to change the value. If you've already got one, then you can create another one and see how it rolls around the existing edge. That's because the tangent propagation is on. If you turn this off, the fillet will extend through the part and then die out. That's the tangent propagation. The Selection Toolbar is just part of the interface that you can use, and it will automate your selection of edges from every edge that's connected to an end face. Let's demonstrate that. If I clear the selections and I click on this face, then SolidWorks selects any edge that connects to that face. And then, of course, it's also propagating to the tangent edges. Another option on the toolbar is to select any edges that are internal. So in that case, if we had a feature on the end, and this was, say it's a cut, okay, and it goes in rather deep, we could use the fillet feature and select the internal edges. You can see the edges that have been selected here, but we need to turn down the size. We'll make this, say, 2 millimeters, and it has selected all of the internal edges on that feature. Let's do another selection. Any edge that's connected to the selected edge. So in this case, that would be 26 edges. That's a lot. All the edges on the current body, that's even more. And all the convex edges. So this is a nice way to select a lot of edges. Turn the size down a little bit and see what this fillet has done for us. It's left several of the concave edges unselected, such as this edge, some internal edges here, and this edge. The Selection Toolbar is very useful, but sometimes it gets in the way of what you're trying to do. The difference between a full preview and a partial preview, let's take a look at that. If we select this edge and then elect to get a partial preview, it'll just show one of the edges being filleted. The reason to do a partial preview instead of a full preview is that some fillet features have a tendency to be very complex, and calculating the preview takes a long time, especially if you don't have an updated computer. But one of the advantages of doing the full preview is that SolidWorks is going to show you with a 90% accuracy whether the entire fillet is going to work or not. You can take this partial preview idea to an extreme with no preview, and of course that's very fast, but you have to wait to click the green check to see if your fillet's going to work or not. Okay, let's delete that fillet and go at it again. There's sometimes when you want the intersection of several fillets to have a certain look to it, and you can control that to some extent by the order in which you create the fillets. If you create this fillet first, and I'm just going to turn off the toolbar because it's hindering our display here, and apply that fillet, and I'm going to turn the full preview back on, and then you apply a second fillet of the same size, then you see the sort of corner that gives you. But if you edit the fillet and change that to a smaller size, then that's going to give you a different look on the fillet. If we change the order, make that a 2mm fillet and the other one a 5mm fillet, Control Q to make the rebuild happen, and now this gives you a different look again. There's many different ways that you can make intersections of fillets have a different look, and some of those are going to be included in some of the other types of fillets that you can create. In particular, there's a setback fillet that allows you to select multiple edges. That's a very complex type of fillet, and we'll take a look at how to create that later. There's also the multiple radius fillet. Let's get out of here and take a look at the multiple radius fillet. If I click on the multiple radius fillet, then this allows me to say, this edge I want to make 2mm. This edge, however, I'm going to make this one 5mm. And this edge is just going to be 1mm. And maybe we make this edge 1mm as well, and we get the wraparound effect there. So this allows you to create several different size fillets all in the same command. There's a good side to that and a bad side to that. The good side is you don't have as many features in the feature manager. The bad side is if one of these fails, then they all fail. It makes it more difficult to do troubleshooting. But the workflow to do this is probably more efficient. You don't have to restart the command several times. Since we've got a fillet that's already here, one way that you can fillet things is by taking an existing fillet and control dragging it onto another face. And then that becomes a separate fillet feature, and you can change this to a different radius. Here's another setting that's interesting to use in Solidworks, and some people will keep this turned on and some people won't. It's down in the fillet options, and it's called Select Through Faces. What this does is it allows you to select a hidden edge. Now it's allowing me to select through the faces, but it's not giving me any sort of indication that I'm on that edge. So I have to pretty much guess to see where an edge is. For example, this vertical edge in the back, I just kind of guessed where that was. If you want the software to also give you an indication of where that is, then that's a setting that you're going to have to resort to Tools, Options, to have a look at. And you go under Selections, Selection of Hidden Edges, allows selection in HLR and shaded modes. So if you turn that setting on, say OK, now you should get still not getting it. Okay, this might be a video card specific thing that is specific to my computer. In any case, you should get a preview of the hidden edge when you roll the mouse over that. Thanks for watching part 1 of the fillets video. Please come back for part 2 where we'll cover some more advanced settings and options within the fillet command.